Trent. And we're expecting a really good game in prospect. Beeston have already played the champions, the runners-up, and now they're facing a team who finished 4th in the league last season. What a run of games they're having. With me is Steve Musson. How are you?
Good afternoon, Andy.
What kind of game are we expecting today?
Well, they've always been close games between Beeston and East Grinstead. Last year was a good example. There was away wins for both sides. Often a lot of goals because both teams are quite open in the way that they play. And particularly thinking of East Grinstead's firepower at the moment, particularly if anybody saw last week's game against Brooklands, Chris Griffiths.
Indeed, yes.
Playing very well at the moment, and Simon Faulkner with his short corners. So there's a lot of danger in the East Grinstead attack.
So we'll also have a look at the team lineups. We'll also have a look at the league tables. But first, let's head over to, well, that'll all be next.
When you succeed,
we succeed.
So we listen.
We tailor. And we invest in you.
We are innovators.
We deliver results.
And world-class service.
We are always developing.
Learning and growing.
And getting better at what we do.
Supporting your business.
We make technology effortless.
And more than just a means to an end.
We're the team who serve.
And advise you.
All to help you achieve.
And surpass your goals.
We're super.
We're honest.
And go the extra mile.
We're winners.
And team players.
And together,
we're the managed service provider.
We're Air IT.
We're Air IT.
We're Air IT.
You're number one for IT and comms.
I played at the highest level for Holland since I was 17. First you start as a talented little girl and just go and play, and now you really have to carry the team. A lot of the media, they always write things about you, but it's not important. I know what I can do, and the people that I really care about, they always believed in me. And I've always been a fighter. Even when you think you can't go anymore, you just keep on going because of your team. My position in the field is important, but without the others, I'm a no one. Speed is very important. There isn't room for error, actually. It's just me, opponents, and my teammates. You have to give it your all, no mercy. Every competition we play, you just want to win. When you step on the podium, it's just the best feeling in the world. It is hard to dare and dream about winning, but we know if we play well, we can beat anyone.
Welcome back to BeeTV. You can see the rain falling in front of the camera. You can also see Beeston warming up as they practice in front of the car park end of the stadium. Let's bring you up to speed with the comings and goings in the division before we get underway, and you can already see quite a remarkable scoreline to the right of your screen in the game that's already finished today. Brooklands 0, Surbiton 12. Mus, what do you make of that?
That is a hammering in anybody's book, and Surbiton have already had their 10-goal game against Reading, so to put 12 in against Brooklands, that is very tough indeed.
Both of those coming away from home as well.
Yeah, it was certainly one of the things that Beeston were worried about last week, travelling down to Surbiton. Ended up being quite a competitive game, so I think in many ways, if they want to take some confidence out of their performances, playing against Surbiton away last week shows that Beeston are competitive.
And you can see the top goal scorers to the bottom left of the screen, all from Surbiton. Ben Boone, Alan Forsyth and Luke Taylor, 6 from 6 on corners, by the way. And also the familiar name for Beeston, Beeston old boy Sam Ward is just one behind on 5 for the season so far.
Typical Sam. He's never one to miss chances to get on the score sheet.
So also yesterday there was a result which was in fact where Sam Ward scored. Old Georgians 3, Wimbledon 3. That one was the late game yesterday. It was quite a climatic finish, wasn't it?
It was. I think that everybody's sort of asking questions about Old Georgians having come into the league, and everybody knows how they've picked up players and strengthened. They've got a great intent to do well with an aim to try to get into the AHL. But it was interesting to see Wimbledon, who'd struggled a little last year, showing some form this year.
There's the scoring sequence in front of us now. Wimbledon taking the lead away from home. Sam Ward equalising. First of his hat-trick there. Wimbledon taking the lead again on 24. Sam Ward then putting a little bit of daylight between Old Georgians and Wimbledon. And then in the final minute, Jack Waller equalising with a penalty corner. So drama.
Very much. Interesting how many of these goals get scored in the 70th, 69th, 70th minutes, isn't it?
You have to pay attention for the whole game. Let's have a look then at the table, because this will now be updated with the result. And as you can see, Surbiton are leading the way 3 from 3 with a goal difference of plus 23. And that puts Beeston third from the bottom at the start of play. Of course, we mentioned at the start just what a tough start Beeston have had and how important it is today to get those points on the board.
That's right. I think that starting off against Surbiton and Hampstead is a tough start, but they need to take confidence from the performances that they've had, settle into that and not let the fact that they've got 2 losses affect them too much, and play in the way that they've been playing today.
Let's have a quick look at today's opponents. East Grinstead currently lying 5th in the table. Their season so far, they lost away at Holcombe 5-3, then won against Brooklands 5-3 at home. So it looks like East Grinstead are only capable of 5-3s.
Let's hope that doesn't happen today. But no, I think they'll take confidence from having got that first 3 points under their belt, and they'll be here today trying to get themselves into the top half of that league, clearly at this part of the season. Right. So there's a threat there for Beeston to take care of.
I need to change my hats briefly as we're about to have a presentation on the field of play. Stephen Lawrence is about to be presented with a shirt, so I'll disappear for a moment and you'll hear the presentation tape.
Congratulations to Stephen Lawrence, who makes his 400th appearance for Beeston first team today. 317th National League appearance, 65 cup appearances, 18 Euro Hockey League appearances. We presented with a shirt with a number 400 on the back. Let's hear it for Stephen Lawrence.
We can see that presentation taking place now. Let's hear it again for Stephen Lawrence. Number 400 on his shirt, having his photo taken. Always getting the presentation right is the tricky thing, I think.
Yes. Hell of a performance from Stephen Lawrence over the years. Very regular player, rarely injured because he takes good care of himself. And he's put himself right at the top of the club for the number of appearances.
Also, you can see the umpires finally getting ready. I can see David Munger there, and who else have we got in charge today? Is it Lee Barron as well?
I think so,
Lee Barron and David Munger today. We were saying what experience we're expecting, what a side East Grinstead can be. Where do you reckon goals are going to come from, because early goals have not been a feature of Beeston's season so far.
No, I think it's taken Beeston into the 30 minutes to get their goals this season so far, but often that's because they've been settling and trying to be competitive against, as we said, the two top sides. The threats from East Grinstead are quite clear. Chris Griffiths, obviously, and Simon Faulkner on the corners, but quite a lot of their players are capable of scoring. Over the years, Andy Piper has netted many times. Wesley Jackson always crops up with a goal or two here and there, and so they've got players throughout their team that are capable of putting the ball in the net.
Okay, we're just making sure everything's in place. Before the match gets underway, there's going to be a minute's silence, just telling you at home about that, and that will take place while the players are in formation, so we're making absolutely sure everything is right. East Grinstead not quite ready to join the lineup just yet. What we will do is, if it's possible, to have a quick flash up of the 16s whilst the teams are about to form up. Which player should we be looking for in both of these lineups today?
Well, I'm hoping to see more from Chris Proctor. We talked about him last time from Beeston's point of view. He's a player who at 24 is emerging now. I'd like to see him keep his goal scoring tally going, and certainly for me, Chris Griffiths for East Grinstead I think needs to be tied down early.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for visitors East Grinstead and your Beeston Hockey Club. We're going to have a minute's silence before we begin East Grinstead game. We'll have a Neil Kelso, who passed away over the summer. Neil was a former Beeston cadet, vice president, and huge supporter of the club. Neil ran a hugely successful Victoria Hotel in Beeston for 25 years, and last season the club, the pub, sponsored the matchday programmes. The club have owned the editions of last year's programmes, and Martin Keeley, who like to present Mr. Neil's wife Linda, who is here today and will take place in the bar after the game. The minute's silence will begin on the umpire's whistle.
Fantastically well marked minute of respect. The players, though, will be making their way out and shaking their hands. We'll run you through those matchday 16s again, and if I can, I'll announce that to the stadium as well. But we'll get those 16s up. We noticed you picked out Henry Croft for Beeston. Because I was in two places at once there, you picked out who for East Grinstead should we look at?
Well, Chris Griffiths, I think anybody would pick him out. There's plenty of other players in there as well who need taking care of. I think one of the reasons for Stephen Lawrence being back in the Beeston side is that he's very familiar playing against Chris, so it's a clear action on the part of Stephen Wood to have somebody who hopefully can deal with Chris's unorthodox attacking style.
So what do you reckon the coaching team at Beeston have done for that particular attacking threat to nullify and maybe go around?
Well, I think they'll want to make sure that he's not too free in the D at any point in time. So normally you'll find sides will try and zone forwards and make sure that the ball doesn't actually get to them in the first place, but Chris is very different to that. So Stephen Lawrence will be marshalling him very closely, so there might be a bit of a man-marking job going on there.
I'll be interesting to see. So, a couple of changes, by the way. Oriol Roca Olgaswari does make it. He played in the two previous games for Beeston, not selected today. Stephen Lawrence, number 16 for Beeston, makes his first appearance of the season today.
Yeah, he was a bit late in his pre-season stuff, and he's found his way in. He's been playing for the second team and just getting his fitness up to on scratch.
On the East Grinstead side, no Sam Hatherley today. He's played in the 2 previous games. So the team's almost ready to go. You can see the Beeston surplus players making their way off the field of play.
I haven't seen a Beeston East Grinstead game that starts off slowly, Andy, so I think you can expect this to be right from the beginning.
Neutrals, if you're just joining us, Beeston in the dark shirts, East Grinstead in the light shirts if you're watching in black and white. So it will be East Grinstead that will get us underway, jogging away from... there we go, we are off and underway in Premier Division hockey here at Nottingham Hockey Centre this Sunday afternoon. Conditions have improved slightly compared to what they were about an hour ago.
Yeah, the rain's staying away a little bit, I think. Hopefully that will last.
Already, nice interception. Chris Proctor, who you picked out, really proving a nuisance already. A lot of space already in defence.
I think one of the things that Chris has worked on as well is how his own pressing skills and getting those tackles in, as we saw earlier there, making sure that the defence are not going to settle.
East Grinstead very happy to get the few first touches of the ball. Look at that, 3 on to Matthew Blood straight away. East Grinstead do come away with possession of the ball, moving out to the right and over halfway.
I think that type of press around the player, excellent stuff, but they've got to be harder than that. So there needed to be no way out for East Grinstead. It was too easy. Indeed, we saw just then Beeston attempt that, and it was passed around quite easily. Nice interception. Nick Park, he's just gone to ground. Play continues. Skills from Ross Stock there, and it's inside the D.
And it's been hit the attacking player, Beeston ball. What a decent run that was. Very direct and very quick.
Well, I think that, as I say, the games between Beeston and East Grinstead are always quite open, so both sides are progressive and quick in terms of their counter-attacks, and so there'll be quite a bit of end-to-end stuff going on.
Just in front of the camera, Kyle Marshall.
Stephen Lawrence has actually taken his role as one of the centre-backs and pushes Kyle out to right half, right back, so he's useful in that position, skillful, and will look to get forward from there. And it's allowed Robbie Gleeson to move into another area of the pitch in the midfield with Adam Dixon, so there's a bit of a strengthening going on there from the coaches.
Aerial ball taken down first time. A lot of communication on the field, which I hope you're picking up at home.
Noisy start. I've just noticed Chris Proctor down in the East Grinstead D. I don't know quite what's happened there.
Long burst of the whistle. We've got a player down you can't quite see on your screen yet in the D. Now, is this an injury? Because I don't think there was a collision there at all. But I wonder if that's an injury. I think is that Chris Proctor?
It is, yeah. He's looking like he's taken a bit of a blow.
It's always tough to find the right words when a player's injured. And hopefully he seems okay to continue, but he does not look very happy at all right now, does he?
It'll take him a few minutes to get over that. Sort of things that coaches look for in the early stage of the game: passing pace and direction. A little bit slow at the moment. Maybe the extra water on the pitch is slowing it down a bit, but
nice control just in front of us. Captain Faulkner. Just keeping my... he does have an armband on. It's very, very tricky to see. It's just on his right arm, right at the bottom.
Yeah, Simon's emerged over the last 2 or 3 years as a very useful player, not only in his defensive work and his captaincy, but also obviously the short corners that he takes. So Beeston will be keen not to give any away. It's better.
Yes, open things up here. Nick Park crosses halfway with the ball under a lot of intense pressure. He's done well to get there. Well, that was a nice step in from 22 Ross Stott. And that's fallen kindly.
Broken nicely, that has.
Yes, Joe Sharp. Oh no, it's not. That's
Henry Croft.
Henry Croft,
yeah.
Who was running forward. I saw a number 8 then for a second. I think I need to check in with our sponsors who provide glasses. although it has gone the way of East Grinstead, and have played their way out of defence.
Yeah, Henry Croft again, he's getting more dangerous for Beeston. He's still only 18. He scored for the second time away at Surbiton last week, having found his way back into the first team after missing the first game. Here we go in the D. It's well defended.
Mass defence there, rather than chasing the player, they're waiting for the player to come to them, and I think that might be the way they'll be playing that today.
A little bit better possession required on those from that outletting. Is a bit too loose. Back to East Grinstead again.
Nice interception again. Jonas Holtmans with the important touch. And look at this break down the left-hand side. East Grinstead chasing. Can't get a stick on the ball.
Get something
at the
from
moment.
that.
Sideline ball for Beeston. Ball patrol lets things go quickly into the circle. And then not quite out. It's a very quick pace to the game.
Yeah, I think when you get to those sort of areas, as Chris Proctor was then, sometimes it's as good as anything to just throw that ball into the D, see what happens. East Grinstead defended that very well indeed, and again back in possession. So slightly bigger possession for EG at the moment. Although I think Beeston pressing quite well and making it difficult for them to outlet.
Just keeping an eye on Chris Proctor in the centre of your picture
now. Gleeson.
This could work out nicely for Beeston. Into the circle, flick beyond the goalkeeper and in, and Beeston have taken the lead.
Robbie Gleeson's pace again. He's just picked that off the defender really well, and that pace to get to the D, excellent. Could be tricky sometimes, keepers closing him down, but he's found the gap.
Beeston lead. East Grinstead by 1-0.
Ross Stott holding his hand up there to his teammates, just acknowledging the fact that he turned that ball over. But it's like we said, both sides are very open, and you get moments like that when the sides are both playing a progressive, forward-thinking game.
Start to see now what East Grinstead have got in their locker. Although ball carried beyond the baseline, if I'm not mistaken. It's a sideline ball. No.
Restart EG there, so
they're into the circle again, flicked away, long corner indicated from the umpire.
To be really careful on these moments. This is where an upgrade to a corner is quite easy to achieve from an attacking side if they get their passing right. Quick transfer here should allow route in.
And particularly if Beeston have got a mass defence in the circle, you've got a higher chance of it hitting a foot.
Yep. Good pressure there, good pressure from the defence on Chris Griffiths receiving that. Wasn't able to pick that up cleanly. I think the team generally will be pleased to see Stephen Lawrence back in there, because he's really good at marshalling the back four and understanding who needs to be where, when.
I say that pass out of defence didn't find its intended recipient, and East Grinstead potentially could be a way in here. That's a slip. It's a East Grinstead sideline ball. They've taken that quickly, driving towards the baseline. Umpire was looking at his hands there, nothing given. Beeston trapped in their left corner in defence.
Great patience and accuracy working that out from defence. Just need to be careful that they continue that on. Risky moment for Robbie Gleeson, but they've come out of that okay.
They've done very well out of defence there, extremely well. Got towards relative safety under a lot of intense pressure.
Yeah, Joe Naughty pressing Toby Stanley pretty hard there, but thankfully it's gone off for a sideline hit, so he's been able to retain possession. Ollie Willars making it quite close pass, and the nice ball into the midfield.
Turned over again in the middle, but Beeston do a very good job of mopping up Adam Dixon with his, you were saying his new haircut. I haven't really noticed the difference, but I maybe haven't really seen him quite close up yet.
His go faster short haircut.
Lofted ball towards the far corner. That bounces a couple of times and out of play.
Well, you were saying, Andy, about Beeston not scoring until in the 30 minutes, so that's a decent start.
Indeed it is. That's shaved off a full 25 minutes, I think, from the 33rd minute that Adam Dixon was the first goal scorer there. Was scoring against Hampstead and Westminster a couple of weeks ago.
Still noisy game. I like to see that. You know, a lot of communication going on there, and the enthusiasm speaking for itself.
Beeston really have eased their way into this one. There's a crunch ball towards the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper is relieved by the umpire's signal defensive hit, East Grinstead.
Yeah, Richard Lawrence was behind the defender there, so it was easy for him to pick that up, and I don't think there was much pace on that cross. East Grinstead coming away again in control of the ball. Nice skills there.
Into the corner, and EG ball again. Their transfer is very quick from defence to attack.
Yeah, they don't mind being in this sort of position, and they can get restarts from anything on that right-hand side of the D. Too many little turnovers in that zone.
First touch of the ball, I believe, Simon Hudgman, Beeston goalkeeper.
Yeah, we talked about him needing to get that first touch right early on, so that was a good start for him.
And this should be mopped up by Beeston. Can they find an outlet? Look at that, there's an awful lot of black shirts racing towards the boulevard end of the pitch here at Nottingham Hockey Centre. More support arriving all the time. Player goes to ground. Umpire says nothing doing, EG ball.
See that kind of a turnover there, Andy. It shows you how quickly the attack can come for the opposition. The ball fed into the D, and that's going to be
reactions.
Amazing. You get a trigger point high up the pitch, and the ball is moved and transferred and headed forward, and the net result is a PC. But in actual fact, Beeston had all. So Andy Piper, was it?
I think it probably was, yes. May have been Liam Ansell. I couldn't quite work out. He looked like a 7 on the back of the shirt, but
you see a few little errors in the whole of that build-up. The unnecessary turnover, the need for Beeston then to track back into shape, the attempt at a reverse stick pickup from Stephen Lawrence and a deflection, and of course an easy PC. So that will be something that the coaches will be a little bit unhappy about, really.
Liam Ansell to deliver, and of course all eyes on Simon Faulkner, who's dispatched 2 penalty corners so far this season. Trap's good, flashed in and wide of the post.
Yeah, they'll be happy to get away with that because you try to look at those moments as they're a bit of unforced errors, and that was certainly one of them from Beeston's point of view.
One or two equipment difficulties which are overcome.
Yeah.
Crunched pass out of defence and turned over almost instantly. There's the ball's not sticking for either team to any extent, although that's nice from Toby Stanley.
Good pressure from Beeston, but the East Grinstead skills working it out nicely. Good release there. They've got that transferred across the pitch, still making the connections. The presser's not quite getting in early enough.
Attempted tackle not quite coming off in Beeston's defence. East Grinstead though, there's only 2 players up front at the moment. One of them is Liam Ansell, who has the ball, and the control wasn't right in the view of the umpire.
I think Andy Piper thought he could pick that off the stick and find himself edge of the D, middle, get a shot off, but it didn't quite work out. A bit more care required now from Beeston on these. There's been too many turnovers in this middle part of the pitch, and there's another one.
Indeed. And the pass forward is pinpoint. This could lead to a shooting opportunity here. More looking like a pass now. Big shout, and the umpire indicates Beeston ball, and they've taken it very quickly indeed, trying to counter while there's fewer defenders from East Grinstead at home at the moment with the ball. Chris Proctor.
Yeah, doing the right thing there. There wasn't enough of an opportunity to push that forward, so he's retained possession, and that's probably what Beeston needs to do a little bit more of. I mean, obviously you want to get that ball through the midfield zones, but it's got to be done at the right time when the passes can be accurate.
Just waiting for the pass to Stephen Lawrence. Stephen Lawrence is pushed that one into the circle. Nice leave. EG under pressure on the baseline. It's still in the circle from a Beeston attacking perspective. It's out. Beeston still have the ball, trying to find a way in. Nick Park. This is him. Chops the ball into the air. That should be...
Well, that was...
There's a lot of whistles going on here. Let's try and find out exactly what's going on.
I think Beeston felt that was deflected high off the East Grinstead defender, and that should have been a free hit on the edge of the D, but it hasn't been seen that way.
Very lively start. If you're just tuning in, don't forget, this is quarters. This match will be played in quarters. So 17 and a half minutes we'll have our first break. So not long to go. It's been a very quick opening period.
Well, it's like we said, they're always, the fixtures between Beeston and East Grinstead, they're always open affairs. The thing for me would be this number of times both teams in the middle part of the pitch have run it onto a closing player's stick and just turned the ball over. That's where the end-to-end stuff comes from, but it's always the Beeston East Grinstead game's always the same. Useful aerial, that tricky to take.
Yes. Good idea, not quite there.
Yeah, well, you've got to get you concentrating when that ball's coming in and make sure you pick them up. You see in the AHL particularly that kind of pass picked up time and time again. It's just that bit of accuracy.
Beeston started off a little bit shakily, but they've ending the half strongly. And here comes another potential attack with it. Chris Proctor, there he is, making his way towards the baseline. His progress is held up.
Again, like we were saying about EG, they'll be happy from this position to restart. They need to make something of it.
That's flashed across the goal, and that's the goalkeeper doing a
great bit of goalkeeping there.
Yep.
That was actually Nick Park, I think, who got on the end of that. But
let's credit Patrick Smith, right place,
great
right
stuff.
time.
Great watching that. He's kept his eye on that.
That was so close to being 2-0.
It was very close. That's where you need your keeper switched on. He's not done a lot. He's not had a lot to do, but he's still ready to go despite that quiet period for him to start with.
Two and a half minutes until the break.
Yeah, I think decent defensive cover from both teams, really. I think that's been the strength of it.
Just out of shot, Chris Proctor's made a terrific run, and he should still be in a very good position. Can Beeston get the ball to him? At the moment, the route isn't there. It's been switched to Alex Blumfield. Blumfield to the left-hand side of the circle, crash towards the goal. Smith's there again to block it.
Yeah, Henry Croft's shot didn't quite get hold of it. It's allowed East Grinstead to get out of trouble.
Now, is this quick discussion about quarters versus halves, because as this half has been progressing, Beeston have got better and better and better. You don't really want the break now, but it's there.
And that's the way it goes. I mean, the one thing that quarters does, as we've said before, is you get these phases in the run-up to the breaks each time, and normally it's just a couple of times a game, but with the quarters there's more of them. Creates a bit more action, I think.
Decent defensive hit. So are you a quarters man or a halves man?
Do you know, for a long time I was always thinking to myself I'd rather see it traditionally as halves, but the more this is kicking in, and certainly watching it in the AHL, I think it's very useful.
Just breaking off there. I think that might be Gareth Griffiths, who's limping away from that connection. Is this going to be pushed in? It's pushed out towards the right, been mopped up. It will be a Beeston ball though. Into the circle we go. And that's been tapped in.
Chris Proctor.
Terrific effort. Beeston have that second goal. They lead by 2-0.
Well, a couple of times there's been a ball fed into the D. It's not quite been picked up right, but Chris Proctor got...
And right time, Beeston lead by 2-0, just with 5 seconds left of that first quarter. Terrific start from the Bees. Let's listen out for that whistle.
Well, we talked about these quarters and these little phases. That was right into the run up to the quarter break. And you know, it's been an opportunity to go into a little breather for the coaches to have a word, because Beeston, despite the 2-0 lead, will have to be extremely careful that they keep their standards high.
Indeed. Whilst we've got that 2-minute break, I suspect we'll have a quick look at the summary of the game so far. And as you can see, Robbie Gleeson opening the scoring, number 6 in the 6th minute, scoring first for Beeston. And Chris Proctor, as we saw, in the 18th minute, with that fantastic strike low into the bottom of the goal. Beeston 2, East Grinstead 0. Time for a quick flip around some of those other games. We are awaiting an update. In fact, there it comes. The result from earlier today: Brooklands Manchester University 0, Surbiton 12. Yes, that's not a bare sprint, 12. Latest score: Holcombe versus Hampstead and Westminster. Hampstead and Westminster, the champions, have the lead by 1-0. And we are scoreless in the match at Reading versus Exeter University. That one is in fact not started yet, so what we're seeing is a little bit of a preview of the game. So it's unlikely to be any goals because they haven't actually started yet.
That's right.
So that is bringing you up to speed. We've had a very, very entertaining first 17.5 minutes. E.g., what's the words being said to them, do you think?
Well, I think if you look at the attacks that each side have had, they've probably been equal in number. I think Beeston defensively have done pretty well in making sure that they stop the attacks leading to anything dangerous, whereas the obvious 2 breakaways that Beeston have had haven't been defended that well. Space on both of those efforts, and of course the last one, as we saw, plenty of space for Chris Proctor to hit with power. So I'm sure that Glenn Kirkham will be wanting East Grinstead to get tighter, particularly on Chris Proctor. I quite like this role that Chris Proctor's got now. It's beginning to help him, really. He's a bit of a free agent, really. He's got more space.
That is, the word I was looking for was free as well, and he just seems to be able to jog and find the space almost unnoticed.
Yes. Well, you just looked at the Surbiton 12-0 result against Brooklands, and they've got a number of players who perform like that, and hence their high tally of goals.
See how this progresses. East Grinstead. By the way, you don't change ends at the end of the quarter if you're new to the sport and tuning into BeeTV for the first time. Here's Liam Ansell, has the ball taken.
You see, all the changes that have been brought into hockey have been to speed it up and to make more action, and I think they've worked very well. The obvious one is the self-pass restart. Quarters, you could argue that that's done similar.
Nice skill, by the way, and the ball is into the circle. There's a flip into the air, and that's the first penalty corner of this second period. Let's just see what happened there. So, walking over for East Grinstead for the ball, David Condon.
Now you see, we're in that opening phase after a quarter break now, and East Grinstead have got themselves into a position where they get the corner. Simon Faulkner's on there. This is going to take some defending, I think. So the number 1 runner particularly has got a big role to play in this, and Simon Hudgwan in goal. He's got to get his big eyes on this and make sure that he can read the direction of Simon's flick.
Just nudging everyone a little bit further to the right of the goal. It's towards the left of the centre, flicked in, and that's a good save. Ball still live though, and PC is over, and Beeston can get a stick on it, and neatly done out of defence. They did very well there, particularly Simon Hudgwan in the Beeston goal.
A nice little bit of play between Adam Dixon and Gareth Griffiths there to work that away safely down the right-hand side. I think when you've defended something like that, you really do need to get your 5-6 passes together afterwards to take any further heat out of your opponent.
Take all the panic out and get the composure back. And this is what we're seeing from East Grinstead is exactly that, getting back into their rhythm, not allowing Beeston on the ball.
Well, they won't panic yet. At 2-0 down, there's plenty of time in the game. They're having plenty of opportunities to attack, passing it around quite nicely as well. So there's a lot to happen in this game yet.
Indeed there is, indeed there is. Ball's just in front of us here at the chapel. Space opening up for East Grinstead, although that was a nothing pass. Turnover, picked up. Simon Faulkner, captain.
Bit of youth and experience there. Toby Stanley ran the ball into Simon Faulkner's stick.
Long corner indicated from the umpire. Here he is again. Simon Faulkner gets us going. Matthew Blood, his pass is intercepted, and Beeston trying to go forward with a lofted ball. This could work out quite nicely. Not quite there. Running was Robbie Gleeson to try and get on the end of that. The goalkeeper, Patrick Smith, palms the ball out of danger. Not getting a moment's chance to think, and that one is...
A collision between the two players there, and I think that's seen as a foul on the defender. So, but like I said, bit of end-to-end stuff going on really, and one of the sides has got to tie this down and exert the control for longer periods.
Indeed. With a ball that comes over your shoulder like that, from a technical point of view, what's the advice to players? How do you play that ball?
You've got to just keep your eye on where it's going really, because it's difficult. It's a difficult angle anyway. But again, you know, you do see many players get on the end of that. Their skill, hand-eye coordination's good, as it wasn't there.
That
could be choreographing the moments. Beeston continuing with this three-man press on any player who tries to make a break through the midfield. Again, there we see it, but they need to do better. They've got the ball, so that's worked.
Indeed, and there's 5-on-3 at the moment, although that pass doesn't find the stick and rolls out of play, EG ball.
That connection between the two players there, Richard Lawrence assumed that Alex Blumfield was going to stay wider than that. Would have won it back again here, or they should have done.
The option wasn't there for the pass, although it's fallen finally to Beeston stick. What's going to happen here? It's whipped in. Can this be converted to a shooting opportunity? Look at the chaos.
Anybody's up.
I think as one you heard the Beeston attack there sound no when the ball was given the favour of East Grinstead. Can this be kept in on the baseline? It is. Who's up there to support? Wesley Jackson is just entering shot now.
Joe Nolte's got round his man there. That's Stephen Lawrence just taking that away just to try and give Beeston a minute to settle.
Faulkner again. Crossfield ball taken nicely. Flips off a Beeston player. Sideline ball, East Grinstead. Steady, steady, steady. He's covered an awful lot of ground already, has Captain Simon Faulkner of East Grinstead. He seems to be part of every routine, every move.
Yeah, he leads by example in all that he does, and fitness is not an issue for him at all. And of course, the nature of the game as it's got quicker and quicker is that you've got to work hard. The rolling subs helps with that, but you really have to get into your game quickly when you get on the pitch and keep that work rate high.
Talking about work rate and effort, a moment to appreciate the efforts of a Beeston alumni. David Griffiths, who did the Nottingham Half Marathon today. I think 24 minutes he did it in. That was the time that he told us anyway. So congratulations. We'll wait for the official time to filter. Another interception, and Beeston can take the ball towards the boulevard end, which is the end that they're attacking.
Adam Dixon travelling well with the ball there.
This is working nicely. Triangles are working. Nice first time passing towards the circle, and it's been flipped behind East Grinstead defensive hits.
You see, sometimes that's really worthwhile doing. The expectation was that the leading player would pick that ball up, but a first time reverse stick and beat everybody, including Richard Lawrence as the Beeston forward there, because he should really have done better to get on that. I think one of the challenges for Beeston is going to be to keep this sort of press going for the whole of the game, because it can be very tiring, and there will be moments for East Grinstead.
Waiting for the ball to be returned from ball patrol. It's just into the circle now. Beeston have got to be very careful. Fired in towards near post. Beeston ball. 26 minutes gone. Beeston have the lead by 2-0 over visitors East Grinstead.
So important to stay on top of those players who've received the ball, particularly if they're just inside the D. The last thing you want is them turning and getting any kind of a shot off either side, force stick or reverse stick. So that worked out quite well.
So letting the game breathe for a moment. It's sort of gone down a notch or two in the last couple of minutes or so. The high intensities have faded away a tiny bit, but I'm sure it wouldn't take a lot for it to really kick back in.
Yeah, and I think both sides guilty of the unforced errors at the minute. So I think the next goal is going to come from the side that keeps that control and the passing accuracy stronger.
Strong arm from Matthew Cruikshanks there. Spotted where that ball was going and just touched it out of play. EG ball, sideline. Attempted the crunch into the circle. Beeston have a defensive hit. And they're looking to go very quickly again. Coming through a lot of traffic in midfield. At Nick Park.
It is now. He does very well travelling with the ball, and he's able to keep hold of it, but he's got to have a plan. So he gets to a point where he's passed a couple of players and there should be a release plan in his mind. EG have mopped that up quite nicely.
Been turned over again in a reasonably good position for Beeston. Flicked in towards the circle, although it's been taken nicely in the air. A couple of that's a suggestion of a push, and will we see action taken by the umpire? There's quite a long burst of the whistle, but we can't see him on our screen, so we'll just assume that no card was given there.
I think he's got away with that. It's,
And also no player has gone trotting off towards the naughty benches as well, so that's a good sign as well.
East Grinstead have done this transfer work pretty well, but so far it's resulted in a turnover.
This is nice. Joe Sharp releases Nick Park. Park plays the ball forward, and could this be a shot towards goal? It is. Goalkeeper comes out and plays it with his feet.
Got to get a corner here.
Proctor hammers the ball, and it's just wide of the upright. Defensive hit out for East Grinstead.
Well, East Grinstead's retreat defensive work there did enough to put Chris Proctor off his shot. It nearly fell for a second opportunity. It wasn't quite controlled. Because Beeston are going to need this third goal. I'm absolutely sure of it.
Well, I think Chris Proctor there was trying to replicate the goal from Chris Griffiths from last week that everyone's been talking about. I've rarely seen the ball hit as firmly as that.
I think both of his goals were extremely well taken, but that second one of his.
Here goes Nick Park, under pressure from two. Nick Park, goalkeeper Smith kicks the ball out of play. Sideline ball for Beeston.
Really impressed with Nick Park, his commitment and skills. Very effective in his play.
By the ball there just being played in towards the goal area. However, came off it was a little bit dangerous, so play was turned over. Let's see what occurs here. That was all gone through. Long corner is the outcome. It's gone a little bit more chaotic these last couple of seconds.
Yeah, I think that again there's a good example there. The ball was collected by the first forward and with a reverse stick attempt to pass it further on, but it wasn't under control. So having said that, Beeston retained possession.
Should be it is attacking free hit for Beeston, making sure that everyone goes 5 metres.
Really need to upgrade from here. It's a dangerous place at part of the pitch. Not sure Beeston have got enough players from what we can see on the screen at the moment around the keeper.
Adam Dixon flicks the ball back and gives a lot of time for Stephen Lawrence to play the ball. Now this is nice, they've gone all the way around the pitch here. This could be trouble for the goalkeeper.
Yeah, they've defended that well. Lots of numbers, nice and low. Could have gone anywhere, but East Grinstead have stayed in control of that.
Just in front of us, Seb Walton. That pass forward isn't collected. Beeston doing a good job of being a professional towards the end of the half and making sure that they don't take too quickly.
We're entering one of those phases again in a run up to a break.
Now another aerial ball taken nicely in the air this time from East Grinstead's Daniel Faulkner, although that little spell of possession comes to nothing. Here goes Chris Proctor. With it now, Nick Park.
Just like to see Alex Bloomfield with a bit more control on his running with the ball. Beeston still in possession.
Adam Dixon doing a grand job there of maintaining possession.
Tricky, isn't he, when he gets when he gets on the ball.
Played in towards the circle.
You have to work really hard in those sorts of leading roles. You call it posting up in front of the defender, just making sure you get there and retain possession. A couple of times Chris has not been able to do that. It's difficult when you've got a defender breathing down your neck, and that's why it's important those defenders understand how tight they need to be.
East Grinstead building from the back. And as they approach halfway, more and more black shirts. Then straight in goes number 12, Alex Blomfield, to try and be that third man on the press. He's now the furthest player forward. Collision after collision on the Nottingham Hockey Centre turf. As they had all the field of ice hockey, but then that'll be Ashley Jackson rather than Wesley.
Yes. Yeah, his skills are just as good on the ice, I understand.
Oh, that's been given away cheaply. Can East Grinstead finish the end of the half with a goal? They have an attacking hit.
Just these little moments, you know, you have to keep your concentration. You've got to understand how quickly you close down. East Grinstead in a strong position here. Beeston defence are going to have to get across.
Popping up here, did that hit a foot on the way through? No, but it is an EG hit.
It did look like it, so I don't think Lee Barron saw it that way.
Someone may have, it looked like it was being stood on rather than it hit a foot. Maybe we'll catch that on the highlights at the end of the game. Have a look at it. That surely hit a foot there from a Beeston defensive perspective. East Grinstead will put the ball in. Sending the half strongly as it gets darker and darker here. You can't really see how dark it's gone on your screen, but I think we're due for an apocalyptic bit of rain in Nottingham. It is drizzling here, but I think there's more to come. That's wide. And
I was just looking at the Beeston defenders there. As the ball was ready to be restarted, two of the Beeston defenders were actually looking in completely the opposite direction. Such a discipline needed in these moments to make sure that you know what's going off and you stay in touch with the game.
That's the end. That's the boulevard end that Beeston are attacking, and that's the end they want the ball to be to close out this first half. They're 2 goals to the good, leading visitors East Grinstead by 2 goals. I think it's the first time they've had a 2-goal lead this season.
Yes, yeah, it is. It's you know, we said earlier, didn't we, that you know, Beeston's third game, having got 2 losses, important fixture for them today.
Well, what a first half it's been. Let's have a quick look at the summary, shall we, of the game so far. And you can see in the distance the clouds I was just mentioning. 2 goals for Beeston. They lead East Grinstead by 2 goals to 0. Robbie Gleeson on 6 and Chris Proctor on 18. So it is half time here. Beeston 2, East Grinstead 0. And we'll come back to you in a couple of minutes for a look at all the other games and a look towards the rest of the league.
When you succeed,
We succeed.
so we listen.
We tailor. And we invest in you.
We are innovators.
We deliver results.
And world-class service.
We are always developing.
Learning and growing.
And getting better at what we do.
Supporting your business.
We make technology effortless
And more than just a means to an end.
We're the team who serve.
And advise you.
All to help you achieve.
And surpass your goals.
We're super.
We're honest.
And go the extra mile.
We're winners.
And team players.
And together,
We're the managed service provider.
We're Air IT.
We're Air IT.
we're Air IT.
You're number one for IT and comms.
I played at the highest level for Holland since I was 17. First you start as a talented little girl and just go and play, and now you really have to carry the team. A lot of the media, they always write things about you, but it's not important. I know what I can do, and the people that I really care about, they always believed in me. And I've always been a fighter. Even when you think you can't go anymore, you just keep on going because of your team. My position in the field is important, but without the others, I'm a no one. Speed is very important. There isn't room for error, actually. It's just me, opponents, and my teammates. You have to give it your all, no mercy. Every competition we play, you just want to win. When you step on the podium, it's just the best feeling in the world. It is hard to dare and dream about winning, but we know if we play well, we can beat anyone.
Welcome back to Nottingham Hockey Centre. Beeston are leading East Grinstead by 2-0. The teams are ready to go, and my word, I was right about the apocalyptic outburst of rain. If we scan pan to the left, everything looks very grey indeed. On BeeTV, we've been treated to sunshine, to wind, to snow, to hail, and now super rain. Beeston have the lead by 2-0. What have the two teams been instructed, Steve Musson, in the half-time break?
Well, I think East Grinstead have got to create more from all of the attacking play that they've had, because they've been in Beeston's last third of the pitch for a lot of times, and they need to upgrade that. They'll be wanting to get more short corners. So conversely, Beeston are going to have to maintain this defensive ability, which I think Stephen Lawrence has coordinated. But they're going to need the next goal, so they won't want to change from their attacking style. So I think we will see, certainly for this next quarter, much of the same.
Okie doke then, with those words ringing in their ears, we'll find out what happens in the next 35 minutes. And of course, we've changed ends. Beeston now attacking the end towards the car park, which is the circle we're now looking at. And both teams look just a little bit more energised than they were towards the end of that first half.
Well, they're going to have to contend with this heavy rain, but
what does the difference? Is there a difference between rain and a pitch that has been watered? Is it noticeable, or is it?
Well, I think it just depends on. I mean, when you water the pitches, they tend to dry out, and you've not got that constant flow. Whereas you can see on the screen how heavy it's raining at the moment. The pitch will deal with that. It won't flood, but it will just make things a little bit slower.
Nicely taken in the air, Daniel Faulkner. I think it's the second time he's done that during the game, although that's been given away and it's been passed around. Beeston can enter the circle for the first time, not quite. A little bit of a frustrated figure, Henry Croft there.
He's not going to get through two defenders' sticks like that. He's got to think a little bit quicker. East Grinstead on the break now. This is scary moments.
Chris Griffiths hammers it. Doesn't get the connection I don't think he wanted there, and it's wide of the upright.
I was a bit concerned there because that was certainly Chris Griffiths' territory.
Two holes on the field, by the way. That's why we haven't got underway. Yes, so what is it about Chris Griffiths that makes him so dangerous to defend against?
Well, if you watch the goals he scored last week, certainly the first one, which was a reverse stick hit from a similar sort of position, maybe a little bit deeper into the D, but he gets his shots away very quickly. Hugely powerful if he's given the time. But sometimes he does drift in and out of games a little bit, really, and I'm sure that Beeston will be happy if he's not quite 100% today. But as I say, they've got other players that can score. This is a nice connection here.
There goes Dixon into the circle, checks his run a tiny bit, goes towards the baseline, drags the goalkeeper out. A little bit of chaos, defensive hit for East Grinstead. As the rain cranks up another notch, you might be able to now hear it on the microphone. What you can't see on your picture is just how dark it's gone over the back of the spectator gallery. It's looking a lot lighter on the screen than it is in real life, I can tell you. So brave, hardy souls, the spectators, give yourselves a round of applause if you're watching this back, and the players having to contend with this, the rain now bouncing off the surface.
It's important both sides don't let that affect them at all. They've got to keep the work rate high, concentrate, think about the fact they might have to push and hit that ball a bit quicker.
That ball's gone out of play. I have been at an international game which has been stopped because of the rain. I know it happened in the Euro Hockey Tier 2 in Glasgow recently, but I was there at Lee Valley in the Euro Hockey when Germany-Belgium got suspended.
Right.
I've never seen rain quite like it.
I think some of the older pitches can flood if they don't drain well. I mean, I'm hoping that this one won't get anywhere near that.
That said, I think of people being bought off here. Was that a flash of lightning, potentially, or?
Yeah, I think Lee Barron's called them in. There was a flash of lightning. So one thing you don't want is electricity and water.
Absolutely right. I think we might be able to catch that on the replay if we can see it, but I certainly saw a flash on the screen rather than in real life. But what we will have is a little bit of a break here whilst everyone regroups, maybe dries off for a tiny bit. So Shall we have a quick look at some of those other games which are going on? Because I don't know how long this delay is going to go on for. So let's have a look at what else is happening around the league. Drum roll, as you saw the earlier incredible scoreline from Manchester. Brooklands, Manchester University 0, Surbiton 12. Holcombe 0, Hampstead and Westminster 3 is latest score. They're 39 minutes into that one, as you can see, because you've been watching. Beeston 2, East Grinstead 0, and awaiting the first goal of the match between Reading and the students at Exeter University. Still no indication, because I'm looking out of the window, just how long we're going to wait for. Looks like a 10-minute delay. We're hearing the ball patrol are a little bit... are the players going back to the dressing room? I think they are.
Or are they?
Well, some aren't, some aren't. I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, I think they feel confident enough to get going again.
Yeah,
maybe
if there was one flash, there certainly wasn't a second flash, was there?
You see, you were talking about games getting cancelled, Andy, and then lo and behold. So.
I could just sense it. You can tell that the water was starting to pool a little bit, but that's now not visible.
No. Well, here we go. So a little moment again to both teams have got to get back on song, and the ball straight away with Beeston forward.
This could be... Ooh, didn't fall quite rightly for Matthew Crookshanks, who was there. Nice skill out of defence. Just right in front of us here. Crookshanks on the ball again. Dixon.
This is where it's really important to take that ball to, for an easy player to hold on to it, which has happened there. So
Joe Sharp laying the ball off. Dixon offering support behind. They're into the circle, and play carries on under the goalkeeper.
Well, they're pretty sure that was a corner there, but wasn't given, and they had the chance to put it in the net.
No, the goalkeeper again. He's done well, Patrick Smith, today, considering he's conceded 2 goals. He's done very well.
That was always going to be difficult. The pass from Joe Sharp there, the leading forward was Gareth Griffiths. It was just always going to be too far away from him. Still plenty of time in the game, Andy, for this to change. It's only going to take 1 goal for East Grinstead, so Beeston will be very keen to make sure that if there is a goal, they get it.
Yes. Looking at what Adams Dixon has done there to shield the ball on several occasions now under quite intense pressure, that leads me on to how can you tell the difference, or what makes an international player rather than a club player, and you can tell the difference in his skill and the commitment.
Well, first and foremost, he's aware of how somebody can take the ball off him, so he keeps the ball close to his stick. He's always aware of how he can get out of those presses.
That's nice. There could be a corner here. Play on. Beeston ball long corner is the signal. Oh, nice bit of foot control from Ian Ansell.
Dangerous moment here if they get this right.
Dixon decides to go back. Whipped into the circle. Controlled on the baseline. 3D skills, getting closer all the time. That's another one that's troubled the goalkeeper. But nobody was there to tap the ball into
I
what
always
was
think that
essentially an empty gap.
when you get that tight, you do need somebody stood on the keeper's toes, and Beeston didn't get anybody in close enough.
Beeston looking for a 3rd goal, flicked in. Long corner, good spell of pressure.
Plenty of pressure. No corners for Beeston yet. This would be a good opportunity to try and get one.
Well, they've done fairly well from open play so far. A corner would be good. We even had Muss's rule of 3 invoked yesterday as well in the Holcombe game with Beeston ladies yesterday.
Oh,
so,
right.
Yeah, three corners. Will one of them be scored? It should be the way.
Well, the clever part here for Beeston with all this pressure is to, they don't want to keep just winning long corners. Something's got to happen in the D now. movement, vision.
Yeah, they have to score the next goal, Beeston, although they've turned over possession. And East Grinstead were very much on track, although Stephen Lawrence did very well to intercept that pass and break that East Grinstead attack down.
He's just brought that bit of calmness to Beeston's defence, which he's done for years. But he won't be thanking the other players higher up the pitch for turning it over so quickly.
More home pressure, this time from a sideline ball.
East Grinstead making it very difficult for Beeston to transfer. The single runners cutting off, splitting the pitch and effectively making it difficult. But there is a way out here if they don't turn the ball over.
That's almost a beautiful pass, although it was intercepted illegally. Beeston free hit. Nice ball out to the left. There is Alex Blumfield under pressure. Free hit for Beeston from the same spot. Back they go, Nick Park. Aerial ball, let's see how this one's controlled. Nicely taken. It is a Beeston ball. Now for the uninitiated, why is that a Beeston free hit?
Well, he was, in actual fact, he was stick tackle from behind, so. Oh.
Given away here. Oh, so unlucky. Beeston attackers very, very unhappy. And also, we've got a clock stopped, and we look like we possibly have a card. The umpire's got his hands on his hips and having a chat with Adam Dixon. Adam Dixon laughing there, I think. So he's not either is extremely unhappy. We can go for a replay if you like. We'll see exactly what happened.
It didn't really look like that to me. So.
Turnover after turnover. Beeston have possession, trying to engineer an opportunity. It is quite chaotic in midfield.
So you talked about the difference between international players and club players. I mean, it's this possession of the ball in those areas, and many times from both sides it's been given over, turned over when they could have kept it. Another example there.
EG ball. Remember I said it was very dark and we had a bit of a rain shower 5 minutes later. It's now gone very dark again. So I'm expecting something to happen in a couple of minutes. Long corner, East Grinstead.
Yeah, finding their way into the D, right-hand side. Opportunity for an open stick shot, but sensibly, I think it was Chris Proctor kept tight on the forward.
Trying to go around the outside. The visitors, 2 goals down, remember. Attempted ball into the circle is blocked sideline ball for East Grinstead, almost taking it too quickly.
Dangerous part of the game now, I think, Andy. This is that phase where you know, any side can start to exert their authority. East Grinstead have got the ball and a bit more possession at the moment, so Beeston need to work hard to win that back and then retain it for longer.
Flicks it back to Condor.
Still moving it around very nicely, East Grinstead.
But they are moving around in an area which is not currently hurting Beeston. Let's see what they do further up the field.
This is where it might.
Yes, indeed. Into the circle they go. So close to being turned on. There was a player turned in. There was a player on the line. And they've escaped with that one.
Yeah,
well.
they
that
needed
was a
Simon
close thing.
Hudgwan, so obviously they've upped it a step because they've got to the keeper. Simon's done very well there.
Another aerial ball forward taken very quickly. Oh, goalkeeper was there to make an important interception. Gareth Griffiths was underneath that one.
Well, he's scored goals like that before. I've seen in the for the England under-21s, I saw him score a goal like that.
Long corner. I've seen a heck of a lot of hockey over the years. I don't think I've seen a game as quite as end-to-end as this.
Well, we did say at the start that's how it might be.
And that's why you get the big bucks as the analyst. There we go. Oh, such a
crikey,
close thing. Here we go, turn and shot here. Dribbles, goalkeeper's down.
Just that little bit of composure needed. That was another miss hit that needed to be smacked into the bottom corner like Chris Proctor done earlier.
Knocking on the door for a third goal, Beeston.
It won't be so easy for them to keep the sort of three-man press on a player for this in this phase of the game as they get more tired.
Oh, so close to another steal. Never mind three-man, I think there were five men in that press there for a moment.
Well, Beeston's work rate's got to remain high. Space here for East Grinstead, and he's on the ball.
Good save, Simon Hujwan.
Well done again, Simon Hujwan.
Low to his right, stops the ball and maintains his clean sheet.
I think the coaches need to start to grab hold of these Beeston players and talk to them about the possession. I'm sure East Grinstead will do the same, but it's too much of the turnover for my liking.
Chris Proctor thought about playing it, but opted to go up the field. Kyle Marshall, will he go aerial? No, he's gone back.
Yeah, they're trying to retain a bit of possession, a bit higher up the pitch.
Slow things down a touch, maybe.
Skills.
Yes.
Adam Dixon.
Dixon again. You can see the armband. Here's a very close to a shooting opportunity. It's another East Grinstead defensive hit. When the play breaks down, it's often going against the attacking side.
It is, yeah. And that's, you know, that's your composure. And Adam Dixon made a lovely run in through the right, inside right channel there. And Henry Croft not quite ready for the pickup. Bit more pressure on that player could have resulted in a repossession by Beeston. And East Grinstead on the attack, great skills.
Is there anyone there in the circle? Yes, there is. There's a player right on the line if they can be found. Although Beeston come away with the ball. That is a feature we've seen recently. Beeston aren't picking up the player standing on the goal line.
Yeah.
Fortunately, it's not come to them yet. However, they aren't picking that player up or
No.
aren't doing anything to put them off.
That's right. Ollie Willard's under some pressure here, just the two at the back at the moment.
Dixon goes to ground. He was still controlling the ball when he was on his knees. That was
Yeah.
impressive stuff.
Yeah, I think if you want somebody on the ball in those tight positions, Adam's your man.
52.5 minutes will be the time for our third break. Quarter time break. Although it's turned over.
That is so
That's a
troublesome.
Hujwan, important interception then. Now we'll hear a long burst of the whistle, and I think we'll see a card about to pop out, or at very least a talking to. It is a green card.
Well, Robbie Gleeson needs to have a long think about that moment, because that could have been a goal for East Grinstead, and then all of a sudden the type of game changes, and he really should not be turning the ball over in those midfield areas.
We'll bring up those details for you once they're confirmed. It looks as if it is just the one Beeston player who's sitting on the chair. Mixed day for Robbie Gleeson.
Yeah. Discipline needed now. They've lacked that a little bit, I think, Beeston, and they're going to need it now with the player missing.
Defensive hit out for Beeston.
I was going to say I wouldn't suggest that that's rushed at that point, so I thought for a minute Ollie was going to try one of his aerials. They need to build this up.
That's nice, taking the pressure off. That's where you want it to be if you're a player down the other end of the field. Although this could work out much better than just possession. Can Beeston get the ball away?
Well, I think that has to be a corner, because
It
that's
is.
quite a clear push from behind. So useful when you're a player missing, just to settle, and the best way to do that is to get a penalty corner.
Now, is that a discussion with the captain, or is that
Well, it's certainly Simon Faulkner who's having a word, so...
Well, let's go and have a look at the replay.
Foot in there somewhere, but
I think they're mistaken. We've had the benefit of a replay. So who's your contender to play the ball? Adam Dixon has scored Beeston's only penalty corner conversion of the season so far.
yeah, he has. Richard Lawrence is there.
So just the 5 around the edge of the circle for Beeston, not over-committing.
Well, Adam got his goal from the other castle last time. He was on the left-hand side where Richard Lawrence is now. Beeston's only goal from a corner, so it'd be interesting to see what they've got up their sleeves here.
Should have the clock restarted in a moment. We're rolling. And it's an intricate one, and this one is another one, and good work again from Patrick Smith in the East Grinstead goal.
Tricky angle to get a slap shot past the keeper. Patrick Smith was easily onto that. And East Grinstead get the possession, really didn't come to anything, that threat.
Joe Sharp receiving a little bit of attention from one of his East Grinstead opposite numbers there. I don't know if there was a bit of a connection with the stick or maybe a shoulder.
Yeah, I think it was, yeah.
Oh, and there's another bump in midfield. I was saying earlier on about how close to ice hockey this game's been.
Yes.
We just need the temperature to drop by about 15 degrees and we'll have that.
Fairly typical for Beeston East Grinstead games, very competitive. That's not a very good pass at all. And those are the sorts of things that...
Though. You can hear the players just in front of us here in the chapel. We're bang on the halfway line. Entering the 53rd minute. So we'll have 52 and a half for the three-quarter time break. And the rain, as promised, is coming.
Nice defensive work, backtracking from the Beeston players. The work rate still remains high, that's going to be important. You just feel, don't you, that the slightest letting off of pace by Beeston and East Grinstead could be in with an open play or a corner.
That is three-quarter time. So with that in mind, with one more quarter to play, Beeston are in the lead by 2-0. This is the story of the game so far. Coming up on your screen now. 2 goals in the first half. Robbie Gleeson scoring nice and early. Beeston's earliest goal of the season coming in the 6th minute from open play. Chris Proctor also from open play from the right-hand side of the goal, low into the bottom of the goal. For 2-0, that's the way it stayed. We're at the end of the 3rd quarter, about to start the 4th. We'll have a quick look around some of the other games which are going on. Refreshing that now. We do have a goal in the game that was earlier goalless. Reading 0, Exeter University 1 at half-time. Holcombe, Hampstead and Westminster, they've got a couple of minutes to go in that one. Hampstead and Westminster running away with that somewhat. Holcombe 0, Hampstead and Westminster 4. And of course earlier on, Brooklands, Manchester University 0, Surbiton 12.
I think Hampstead will be pleased with getting back on song with their scoreline.
Indeed, they're rolling along quite nice. There's a couple of teams looking good in that division, but we'll see how the game develops. The rain is starting.
Well, this next 5 minutes is going to set the scene, I think, really. I know that goals can come later in the quarter, but we've got a final quarter of quite a lot of action. I wouldn't mind betting there's going to be lots of opportunities in this phase.
East Grinstead have scored 2 goals in the 70th minute in their games so far, so I'm sure that's a feature of their play that Beeston don't want to see particularly. if there's East Grinstead can make it 2-1 in between times. Although, let's see this Beeston attack progress. You can see the water on the field is being kicked up by every touch of the ball. Player for East Grinstead, Joe Nolte, is just looking like he's
on the inside of his knee.
There.
Yeah.
Brookshanks can't stop that one going through. And good pace into defence from Adam Dixon there. He's doing everything he can to stop the attack building for East Grinstead. Nice little layoff here. Out to the right-hand side. And this will be nice little 3D skill to lift the ball into the circle. And that's a PC for Beeston.
Yeah, nasty tackle there, and that's led to the corner. And this is a real important part of the game because 53, 54 minutes, this would be a great time for Beeston to get that.
Yep, running into the circle. Corner. Henry Croft. Going over to inject is Stephen Lawrence. And we've got 6 around the edge of the circle today. Dixon to the left and to the right, Richard Lawrence.
Well, this is interesting because, as we said for the previous corner, Adam scored his goal against Hampstead from this castle, and so they've switched over. Far too wide on the last one, didn't give him much of a chance at all, so it'll be interesting to see whether it goes to the nearest castle.
Indeed. They were quite intricate. Maybe they'll opt for power this time. We will see in just a few seconds' time. It's out and whipped in and then stopped with a stick from Patrick Smith. Still live.
Quite easy height. There's opportunity here for another attack. Good time to upgrade this. Another corner would be great.
Can this be turned into a shooting opportunity? The umpire's got a whistle to his lips. East Grinstead ride it out. Play the ball along the touchline. Beeston ball.
Fairly well done there. It was important he kept the possession.
I think that may have been an attempted aerial which went all the way along the floor. With it now, Nick Park.
He'll tell you that was a deliberate pass.
It worked out really well, I was. That was me, I wasn't happy with it. Crookshanks. Forward to Proctor. Slips it into the circle. Nice. Can this be turned in for 3? It's close. It's into the goal, but no.
Another moment where Patrick Smith has done so well on that, because that was right under his feet, and there was a Beeston player there this time.
Umpire right on the spot.
A bit more intention on this counter-attack. Well, that's a shame for East Grinstead. They had a lot of space to work with on the right-hand side. Joe Nolte let that go. Maybe struggling a bit with his poorly knee.
And now we can see shadows on the field of play. What a strange old day we've had. Let's see. That's a little bit of a bundle for Joe Sharp. Joe Sharp going to ground. Not thrilled with that.
Classic sandwich tackle. Well, it's a useful time to have a lot of possession, so well played.
Yeah, nicely taken from the East Grinstead defence.
Pressure here. That's a little bit closer from the Beeston player there, and that might have been more tricky for East Grinstead, but they've got the ball a bit higher up the pitch. Right-hand side attack.
Ross Griffiths has the ball taken off him. Bit of a stick lock happens. Beeston ball. Quick look ahead at some of the other fixtures whilst this Beeston attack builds. Or maybe we'll do that in a moment. Ball's out of play. So Beeston next time out, away to Brooklands Manchester University on the 5th of October. Then it's Old Georgians here on the 13th for East Grinstead. Old Georgians next, that's the 6th of October. Then they're at home again to Reading on the 12th in the late game. So that's the next couple of games for the two teams. Old Georgians featuring heavily in both of those lists.
Yes, they're, everybody's a little bit apprehensive about playing them with their talented forwards and general players anyway. With a bit of space here for East Grinstead.
Developing through the middle.
Good work back by Beeston, but they need to pick this up early.
And that ball safely through and out of harm's way. 12 minutes to play. Beeston leading East Grinstead by 2-0 on a wet day here at Nottingham Hockey Centre.
One corner restart for East Grinstead.
They can take as much time as they like over this because they're currently 2 goals down.
Risky moments though. There's real intent by EG. They've found that player on the wing quite nicely there, and he's in the D.
Mass defence. That's
there you
into
go.
the goal.
That has been something that has worried me for a little while now, and there's a long time left in the game.
Lovely fin. Beyond the goalkeeper.
Chris Griffiths on the baseline there shouldn't really be able to get that connection, but he's done very well.
Well, what can Beeston offer in return to that? Dixon takes the ball into the air nicely, although it's been taken out of his path. And EG have got the
well, the whole thing's changed now. The energy from East Grinstead is clear for all to see.
10.5 minutes to play. Beeston's first points of the season that looked almost guaranteed are now suddenly starting to look a bit shaky.
Well, we did say that. I mean, that 2-1 scoreline, it's always a very risky position, particularly when there's plenty of time. East Grinstead it's inevitable that they'll pick up a corner, I'm sure of that.
Although that's good play, interception on the floor. Done well there, Joe Sharp. In the wars a little bit today as well. He's done well to shield the ball here as well, take the ball towards the corner. Can this be turned into something from an attacking point of view? It is, it's a free hit.
Well, he's done well to retain possession there, so this is a useful place to try and build something better.
Little toe end of the stick in, nudges it out from the East Grinstead player.
Not quite in control of that.
Sharp flashes the ball into the circle, and that one has been crashed towards the goal but flashes away off the defensive stick.
That's travelled miles.
It really has. It went up in the air. I thought, oh, that's heading towards the goal. Yeah. But it isn't. It was, that might be dangerous. Play continues. Blumfield has the ball taken away. Trying again to win the ball back. EG trying to go down the longest route down the right-hand side.
Worked the ball out of here well. There's another example.
Willars
putting a high pressure on the Beeston defenders there, but thankfully they've got that away. It's this next connection that's important, but it's gone back to East Grinstead again, so allows them to have another go at a build-up.
Haven't done my usual call for the Riley Wealth Management Player of the Match. Your suggestions, please, at @officialBHC on Twitter. That's at @officialBHC on Twitter for the Riley Wealth Management Player of the Match. We'll announce this towards the end of the game. Nice interception. Nick Park again. Sorry, that's not Nick Park. That's Joe Sharp, number 8. Whistle's just gone to help Beeston in defence there. 8 minutes left.
Yeah, they're going to need to rely on some of Adam Dixon's skills to get out of these defensive positions at the moment, and maybe an Ollie Willars aerial.
That's taken nicely. That's been picked up in the air. I'm sure that's Gareth Griffiths. It is number 7, and he's played it into the players, almost won it back, but East Grinstead.
See how dangerous the turnovers are there.
Ball out of play, Beeston ball. Important question, not trying to put you on the spot, you can say, I don't want to answer that. Can you see a fourth goal in this game, Russ?
I think so. I think it's going to happen. We're 8 minutes out. I think the game's showing the same traits it's always shown, with quite a lot of unforced errors, and I think that's possibly going to lead to another goal. The hope is that it's from Beeston's point of view, but East Grinstead now, we're just going to put the pressure on right the way through to the end.
Willars with a restart into as much space as he could possibly find. That's towards the edge of the circle, taken nicely. Now into the circle, shooting opportunity. That's wide of the upright.
That's a real shame. He did create a little bit of space, 4 or 6 inches or so, just to get that shot off. It wasn't accurate.
Arms aloft. Now the shot was the right choice there, because there was no one in a decent position to try and pass to. So
yeah,
that was the right shot.
It was okay to try that. Just needed to be executed a bit better.
If it had come off, we'd all have been happy for him, but it was ultimately, now the ball's down the other end of the field.
Yeah, it's gone back to that end-to-end stuff that was characteristic of the first quarter.
Decent enough game management here, taking the time. Beeston trying to wipe those seconds off the clock wherever possible.
I think that's gone.
Ball up into the air, bounces once, controlled into defence. And out of defence from East Grinstead, important. Stick in, well done for the Beeston attacker.
That's right, he's done the right thing there. He's and then Nick Park hasn't. But they've managed to get the free hit, so that's worked out all right. But just taking care of the ball in these closing minutes.
Yes, 5.5 minutes to go. Beeston 2, East Grinstead 1. It's been a spectacular game of endeavour, skill and determination. What way is it going to go? Into the circle. Beeston go. Stay tuned. Plenty more excitement, I'm sure, in the next 5 minutes. If you are watching, tell a friend.
I think they feel that's a corner, but yes, and it's been given by Lee
corner.
Barron.
It was quite late, but the right decision was made there. Heading to the replay. Lifted into him, so defenders maybe got a little bit of a complaint there.
I think it was either lifted off the stick or it hit his foot. We couldn't quite see closely enough.
All right, so it was the second touch was his arm rather than...
Yeah.
Okay then. So the rule of 3 coming into play.
Well, yes, let's keep our fingers crossed on that.
To deliver, Kyle Marshall. To the left of the circle, you've got 17, Richard Lawrence, and number 14, Adam Dixon. The very left, Robbie Gleeson, who's already scored during this game. Intricate or power? Which is it going to be? Here's the delivery. It is intricate and it features power. Goalkeepers involved again. And it's gone the way of East Grinstead.
Satisfactory save, and here go East Grinstead again. So, stick tackle there.
Joe Sharp getting clattered again. As I said, he'd been in the wars today. That's not helped his day, I don't think.
It's a build-up. This could be where East Grinstead get another opportunity if Beeston aren't careful.
Oh,
that's not good enough.
Not enough on it, out of defence, and even that pass isn't quite going the way that the player intended it to. Adam Dixon now, we can definitely see that fantastic new haircut of his. And he's had the ball taken off him. With it, Liam Ansell. Ansell has come a long way with it. Crunched out. And then played out of defence sensibly. Nice control, placing the pressure off Richard Lawrence. Lawrence plays it for Sharp to chase. Sharp's the furthest player forward at the moment. 2.5 minutes to play.
I think I'd have liked to have seen Richard Lawrence keep hold of that a little bit longer, because these attacks now are going to be pure counter-attacks from East Grinstead. And look at the space. They'll feed that into the D, I'm sure.
And diving Simon Hujwan turns the ball behind what I think is a long corner. Now, what's happened here is the goalkeeper being taken off. I think we have. So we've got 11 outfielders for East Grinstead, if I'm not mistaken. If we can get a second pair of eyes on that, just to confirm.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yep, so it's 11 outfielders for East Grinstead. They sense that they can get something out of this game.
Be a big push for the equaliser now, and some resolute defending needed here. That's not
East Grinstead
yeah, that's
ball.
a foot there, so out lads, come on, let's get out there.
Yeah, hit about 7 sticks in a row. Big
And
call,
there's the corner.
and it is a corner.
Precisely what they were looking to achieve. And that often comes the
Most likely Simon Faulkner. He's
I'd
the
have thought
captain
so.
and number 15. So where is he going to take in position? There you can see with his armband in the centre of your picture, or just the left of centre of your picture. EG have put an awful lot of bodies forward, and they've got some quality there.
heading into that dreaded 69th, 70th minute period of the game. Beeston are going to have to do so well here to keep this out.
To inject the ball, David Condon.
We can't allow this flick to be got away.
And then padded away first time. Simon Hujwan doing excellently to keep that shot towards goal out.
Well, that was a great save. I'm not quite sure how. It was a decent height for him to save, but he's obviously got across to that, seen it early.
He had to get everything behind it. I've seen shots like that go off the goalkeeper and still find their way in. Aerial ball flicks off something. This is exactly what Beeston want with 20 seconds left. It's the ball's taking a while to come back to the...
Well, they need it down the other end safely, so that the time ticks away.
Huge aerial ball out of defence.
But it has gone to an EG player.
It has indeed. So there's, I'm sure, time for another attack. How will it develop? EG have gone down the left-hand side, out of play.
There's the final whistle.
The final whistle. It is a win for Beeston. 3 points on the board for the first time this season.
Definitely needed. They needed to get some points on the board after the first 2 games. That's been really good, but it was close towards the end. And East Grinstead always a threatening team, but glad to see Beeston get the win in the end.
Well, let's talk you through.
Now to the men.
Robbie Gleeson opening the scoring on the 6th minute. 12 minutes later, Chris Proctor getting a second for Beeston. And then with 10 minutes to go, Liam Ansell scoring from close in to make it 2-1. Beeston rode out the storm, and it is 2-1 the final score. We can see on the screen 2 green cards at the same time, which is interesting. Robbie Gleeson, we know Luke Emmett was also green carded according to the officials.
Yeah.
However, we saw only Robbie Gleeson on the naughty chair.
We did, yes, that's right.
Intriguing one. Let's have a quick spin around the rest of the grounds as well while we're at it. And let's get that to refresh. It's turned on for some goal scoring late on for Hampstead and Westminster. They were 4-1 up at one point. It's now Holcombe 1, Hampstead and Westminster 6 as they're entering the final minute. And Reading 0, Exeter University 1. There's still plenty of time left in that one. Shall we have a quick look at the detail for Holcombe and Hampstead and Westminster, just to see exactly what's gone on here. There is a bit of a flood of goals towards that one. Matt Guys-Brown with 2
corners. Yeah,
Kai Capona, Hill Jones, Sam French and Mark Edwards. Barry Middleton, there's no stopping Barry Middleton usually, but it was 4-1 and they've turned on with another 2 goals. that one. So it's a good day at the office for them, and they're still playing. Quick look at the updated table. Where do Beeston sit now at the conclusion of the games that have finished? As of now, Beeston on 3 points, so that would put them above East Grinstead as things stand, because there'll be 3 points and a goal difference of +1. So they've jumped from 8th to 5th, Beeston, with this result today. Good performance. Who was your player of the match, Russ?
Well, I think that Patrick Smith did very well in the East Grinstead goal, because there was a lot of opportunities for Beeston to score, particularly close in around his feet. I think Adam Dixon featured in the last quarter, maintaining a lot of possession, which Beeston certainly needed. And we saw good performances from Simon Faulkner as ever in the East Grinstead defence.
Well, that's it for BeeTV this weekend. When we return, it'll be Beeston versus Old Georgians for the men on the 13th of October at 2 o'clock. I'm sure the women are in action the day before as well. It's a 2-day weekend of BeeTV on the 12th and 13th of October. Thanks for keeping us company this afternoon from me, Andy Day and Steve Musson. Thank you very much. To play us out, we've got the highlights. See you soon.
Outlet.
Just keeping an eye on Chris Proctor in the centre of your picture now.
Robbie Gleeson.
This could work out nicely for Beeston. Into the circle, flick beyond the goalkeeper and in, and Beeston have taken the lead.
Robbie Gleeson's pace again. He's just picked that off the defender really well, and that pace to get to the D, excellent. See that kind of a turnover there, Andy? It's shows you how quickly the attack can come for the opposition. The ball fed into the D, and that's
word.
That's going to
Good
be
reactions.
Amazing. You get a trigger point high up the pitch, and the ball is moved.
Into the circle we go. And that's been tapped in.
Chris Proctor.
Terrific effort. Beeston have that second goal. They lead by 2-0.
Running goal. He's got to get his big eyes on this and make sure that he can read the direction of Simon's flick.
Just nudging everyone a little bit further to the right of the goal. It's towards the left of the centre. Flicked in, and that's a good save. Ball still live.
But as I say, they've got other players that can score. This is a nice connection here.
There goes Dixon into the circle, checks his run a tiny bit, goes towards the baseline, drags the goalkeeper out. A little bit of chaos, defensive hit for East Grinstead. Dixon decides to go back. Whipped into the circle, controlled on the baseline. 3D skills, getting closer all the time. That's another one that's troubled the goalkeeper. But nobody was there to tap the ball into what was essentially an empty gap.
That's how it might be.
And that's why you get the big bucks as the analyst. There we go. Oh, such a close thing. Here we go, turn and shot here. Dribbles, goalkeeper's down.
Just that little bit of composure needed. That was another miss hit that needed to be smacked.
Never mind 3 men, I think there were 5 men in that press there for a moment.
Well, Beeston's work rate's got to remain high. Space here for East Grinstead, and he's on the ball.
Good save. Simon Hujwan.
Well done again, Simon Hujwan.
Low to his right, stops the ball and maintains his clean sheet. That's nice, taking the pressure off. That's where you want it to be if you're a player down the other end of the field. Although this could work out much better than just possession. Can Beeston get the ball away?
Well, I think that has to be a corner, because that's quite a clear push from behind. So useful when your player misses.
Lay off here. Out to the right-hand side. Now this will be a nice little 3D skill to lift the ball into the circle, and that's a PC for Beeston.
Yeah, it's a nasty tackle there, and that's led to the corner. And this is a real important part of the game, because ski moments though, there's real intent by EG. They've found that player on the wing quite nicely there, and he's in the D.
Mass defence. That's
there you
into
go.
The goal.
That has been something that's worried me for a little while now, and there's a long time left in the game. Put the pressure on right the way through to the end.
Willars with a restart into as much space as he could possibly find. That's towards the edge of the circle, taken nicely. Now into the circle, shooting opportunity. That's wide of the upright.
That's a real shame. He did create a little bit of space for the equaliser now, and some resolute defending needed here. That's not
East Grinstead
yeah, that's
ball.
A foot there. So Out, lads, come on, let's get out there.
Yeah, hit about 7 sticks in a row. Big call,
there's the
and
corner.
it is a corner. To inject the ball, David Condon.
We can't allow this flick to be got away.
And then padded away first time. Simon Hujwan doing excellently to keep that